He's so busy through. Those of you who don't know, I'll just give a brief introduction. Ki Maharaj joined Ramakrishna Order in 1993, and after that, in 1999, Maharaj in Advaita Ashram, Kolkata, and in 2019 he took over as president of Advaita Ashram. Maharaj has edited so many books, and Prabuddha Bharata main magazine, if you see, Maharaj is the managing editor in that. And apart from that, Maharaj is a very good speaker, no need to tell. All of you are here because of him. So I would request, and one more thing, Maharaj has taken his Mantra Diksha, Brahmacharya Diksha and Sannyas Diksha from Prata Samarni Pujya Swami Ranganathananji Maharaj. So with this brief introduction, I would request Maharaj to please start.
Yeah. Paratmanamekam jagadbijamadyam niriham nirakaram onkar vedyam yato jayate palyate yena vishvam tamisham bhaje liyate yatra vishvam sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai om shanta shanta shanti Harihi Om. Dear devotees, so it's a matter of great joy to be here. इसका थोड़ा सा वॉल्यूम और थोड़ा बढ़ा दीजिए, थोड़ा सा वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दीजिए, और जो बास जो है ना, बास पूरा ऑफ, बास को पूरा ऑफ कर दीजिए एंड ट्रेबल ऑफ ऑन कर दीजिए, तो क्या आवाज़ नहीं आएगा ठीक से. यू रिड्यूस द बास एंड इंक्रीज द ट्रेबल. So it's a yes. Before we start this session, I would like to know your names. Please just introduce yourself to me. So where have you come from? Ahmedabad. What's your name? Archita. Archita, yes. You have come to Mayavati. Yes. Yourself?
Vishwanathan, I'm coming from Chennai.
Chennai, yes.
To Mayavati.
Yes, Vishwanathan. Archita.
Dinesh Chadha from
Yes. Yourself?
Harish Thakur from Delhi, and I was also initiated by most revered Swami Ranganathananji.
Yes.
Indira Ganguly from Noida.
Achha.
I was initiated by Swami Gauranga.
Achha. Yourself?
Dipendu Ganguly from Noida.
I
am also initiated from Swami Gauranga Maharaj.
Achha.
Sima Chakraborty from Gurgaon.
Gurgaon.
Neeru Gupta.
Yes, I know that very well. Yourself?
My name is Nikitasha. I'm
From
from New Delhi.
New Delhi, from Noida. Yourself?
I'm Shweshwar Bakshi, initiated by Shuddhidananda.
Achha. You're from Delhi?
I'm from Calcutta.
Calcutta.
Prabhat Chakraborty from Gurgaon.
Achha.
I'm Monica Rastogi, Rajasthan.
Rajasthan.
Anirudh Chauhan from Gurgaon.
Yourself?
I'm Sita Babu. I'm from Nagpur, but now I stay at Gurgaon. I'm also blessed from Swami Ranganathan.
Yourself?
Brajakishore Sahu from Delhi.
Delhi.
Archana from Chennai.
Chennai, yes. Yes.
I'm Anjana Saha coming from Delhi
Delhi.
and initiated by Swami Ranganathan.
I'm Tushar Sinha from Gurgaon.
Who is?
Tarunjit Das from Mussoorie.
Acha.
Initiated by Prabhu Aparokshanubhuti.
Leena Das from Masuri and initiated by Swami Shuddhidananda.
That's right. Who is there?
I'm Shanchita Banerjee from Delhi. My guru is Swami Shuddhidananda.
Acha. Yeah,
Khya Bhattacharya from Delhi.
Delhi.
My name is Raghu, I'm from Delhi.
My name is Devashish Saha. I'm from Delhi. I'm initiated by most revered Swami Ranganathan Maharaj.
I'm Aparna Roy from Kolkata.
Shuddhidananda Boshu Thakur from Kolkata. My guru is Swami Gaudananda.
Maharaj, I'm Amrish Bhattacharya. Basically, I'm from Calcutta. Now I stay at Greater Noida West.
Yeah.
Aravinda Singh from Kolkata and presently at Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Isha from Gaudananda Maharaj.
Acha.
Aditya Singh from Bangalore, initiated by Srimad Swami
Shukanta Shaha from Delhi.
Dinesh Khetipal from Delhi.
Anil Sethi from New Delhi, initiated by Reverend Swami Shuddhidananda Maharaj.
I'm Abhinam Mondal. I'm originally from Burdwan, but right now living at Gurgaon.
Gurgaon.
And I'm blessed, initiated by Saint Vishnu.
Yourself. Paresh ji. Take.
From Gujarat.
Gujarat.
Initiated by Swami Vivekananda.
Right. This side is that?
Ramchandra Yadav from Hisar,
Acha.
Haryana.
Acha. Yeah.
Neelam Yadav from Hisar, Haryana.
Yeah.
I'm Ashok Dharmani from New Delhi, initiated by Swami Vivekananda Maharaj.
हो गया all over no अच्छा
Total 45.
Yeah.
Chakraborty from Kolkata. Diksha from Swami Srimad Prabhupada Maharaj.
Bhudan Chakraborty from Kolkata. My Gurudev is Swami Prabhupada Maharaj.
All right.
I'm Sudhir Nayyar from Chile.
Anjali Swami from Delhi.
Delhi. So total in how many participants are there? 45. Yes. So you can tell your name to everybody.
Myself Ramesh.
Ramesh.
Delhi.
Delhi, yes. So it's a wonderful thing to be here. So from today, we shall be studying this book titled Aparokshanubhuti. This is a book by Bhagwan Sri Shankaracharya, one of the very important Prakarana Granthas. So before I get into it, just a few points about this book. Before getting into this verses of Aparokshanubhuti. First of all, we need to make certain things clear before we begin this study. We all have to approach this book with a certain frame of mind. That is very important. Unless our frame of mind is the right one, the study is not going to bear the fruit which it should be producing. So what is this right frame of mind? The right frame of mind to approach this book is that, first of all, we all are here the seekers of truth. This is one very important point. The question is, what are we here for? Why have we come here? That is one big question. The answer to this question is that we are here as seekers of truth. We want to know the truth. Now, this is the basic approach which you will find in the Upanishads. This is the great teaching of the Vedas. The Vedas want to keep before us the simple, plain truth. And we have to be seekers of truth. Here we are going to come face to face what is true actually, not what we imagine about truth. We can have any number of imaginations about truth. Imagination is imagination, but truth is truth. Truth is beyond all imaginations. To know the truth as the truth is and not as we imagine about it, these are two different things. So the whole approach here is the approach of a pure, scientific seeker of truth. So all of you have to tell to yourself that I am seeking the truth. I want to know the truth about my own self. I want to know the truth about this mysterious thing called world which we are experiencing through our senses. I want to know the ultimate reality. So this is the basic frame of mind with which we have to approach this subject. It is a daring approach. Let me make certain points very clear here. It is a very daring approach. It is meant for the boldest persons, where you are ready to set aside all your imaginary ideas about truth. Imagination, how much of a good imagination is imagination. And truth is something beyond imaginations. There are some good imaginations, and good imaginations are helpful in spiritual life. And yet it is imagination. So here the whole approach is to approach the truth as the truth is. And for that we need to be ready to set aside our pet ideas about truth. See, we all are carrying certain ideas about truth. We all have our ideas about God. Now we are going to touch upon very important verities. God is just an idea for us, most of us. We are just having certain ideas about God. We don't know what God it is. These ideas of God, they have got a valid place in spiritual life. But after all, ideas are ideas. Here the whole approach is, I want to know the truth, or this word which I am using, God. I want to know God as God is, and not as I am imagining about it. These are totally two different things. So this is the frame of mind with which a seeker of truth should be approaching this amazing subject called Aparokshanubhuti. It is speaking about an anubhuti, experience. We all have experiences. We are experiencing. Now let us just look into this phenomenon called experience. Experience is life. Life is experience. Everyone, every living creature is experiencing. Anubhuti is the very platform of life itself. There is no creature who is not experiencing. Everyone is experiencing. But the question is, how are we experiencing? There are different modes of experiencing, and there is something which is being experienced. Presently, if you just look into our experience, what do we find? In our present experience, you see, we experience things through our sense organs. A very important point. Let us make this point very clear. None of us are experiencing anything beyond our sensory realm. Everything that we are experiencing today, it is all sensory. sensory and based upon the sensory data which we are receiving. That's all. We are understanding, we are seeing this world through our sense organs, and we have 5 sense organs with us. And based upon these 5 sense organs or sensory perceptions, we can infer certain things. So there are different means of attaining knowledge. Let me just go back to the Vedantic way of attaining knowledge. There are, in Vedanta, I'm just touching upon it. I don't want to go into the details of it. See, because we have just 3 days. In 3 days, we cannot go into the details of this entire subject. And I don't know whether I'll be able to complete this entire book in the matter of next 3 days. There are 144 verses in this. Let us just see, to the extent possible, we'll do it. At least we shall try to touch upon the important points. To put it in a very simple manner, in Vedanta, there are 6 pramanas. Pramanas means what? The means of gaining knowledge. We are all gaining knowledge, and we gain knowledge through certain means. The most important means through which we gain knowledge in our day-to-day life, it is based upon our sense organs, which is known as pratyaksha pramana. See, I am seeing you, you're all looking at me, I am looking at this world outside. It is all happening through the senses, is it not? And we have 5 senses. I am seeing, I am listening, I am touching, I am smelling, I am tasting. These are the 5 sense organs through which I am sensing something which is outside. Now, this is all that we know as far as experience is concerned. We are all gaining experience through our 5 sense organs. This is what is known as pratyaksha pramana. Aksha means eyes. And eyes represent all the 5 sense organs. Eyes only is representing all the 5 sense organs. And pratyaksha means all the sense organs. Pratyaksha. So we are deriving data from outside through our 5 sense organs. And based upon pratyaksha pramana, we have certain other pramanas, like anumana pramana, upamana pramana, arthapatti, anupalabdhi, and shabda pramana. Let me not go into the details of it. I don't want to confuse, but to put it in a very simple way, apart from this pratyaksha pramana is known as direct perception. We are directly perceiving these things. You see, I'm looking at this hill, beautiful hill, full of trees and everything here, and you're all sitting in front of me. This is a pratyaksha pramana, something which is directly in front of me and which my senses are revealing to me. This is known as direct perception. And based upon direct perception, we have other means of knowledge like anumana. Anumana means what? Inference. Inference is a valid means of knowledge. A good example to understand how inference works. Inference works completely on pratyaksha pramana, on direct perception. For example, I am looking at this hill here, and on the top of the hill, I am seeing smoke. I am seeing smoke. Smoke is pratyaksha to me. But what causes smoke? Fire causes smoke. There cannot be smoke without fire. But I am not seeing the fire. I am only seeing the smoke. So smoke is a pratyaksha experience for me, but based upon this pratyaksha, I am inferring, anumana, inferring that there should be fire. So this is an indirect way of gaining knowledge. So to put it in a very simple manner, in our day-to-day life, where we are experiencing this world through our 5 sense organs, all the means of knowledge can be categorized into 2, direct and indirect. Inference is indirect, and this direct perception is direct. What I am straight away seeing, you are all sitting in front of me. This is a direct perception. So this is known as pratyaksha, and that which is not pratyaksha is known as paroksha. These are all technical terms. You can just listen to it. What I mean to say is that something is front of me. There are many things, they are not in front of my sense organs, but yet they are existing, about which I can infer, and that inference is an indirect way of gaining knowledge about those things. That is known as paroksha jnana. So we have pratyaksha and paroksha. Pratyaksha is that which is in front of me, and paroksha is that which is at a great distance, which is not in front of my eyes, about which I can infer, and that is also a valid means of gaining knowledge. So you see, we in our day-to-day life, our life is actually going on based upon pratyaksha and paroksha jnana. That's all. Now I am not going into the details of, I have just touched upon anumana, then you have upamana, you have arthapatti, you have anupalabdhi, and you have shabda pramana. Let me not go into the details of all those things because that will take time. That is not needed. All that we need to understand is, in our day-to-day life, in our physical plane, the two ways in which we are gaining knowledge is pratyaksha and paroksha. And this is all based upon sense organs. Now, what do you mean by aparoksha? We have seen pratyaksha and paroksha, but there is a third way of gaining knowledge, which is aparoksha, which is neither pratyaksha, which is nor paroksha, but which is aparoksha. Now, anything which is different from me, you have to listen to this very carefully. Anything which is distinct from you or distinct from me, you as an individual, something is distinct and different from you, it has to be either pratyaksha or paroksha. Any doubt? Anything, you as an individual, I as an individual, anything which is distinct from me, it has to be either pratyaksha or paroksha. But what about your own self? What about your own self? What about my own self? My own self can neither be pratyaksha nor can it be paroksha. It is aparoksha. Now, what do you mean by here? Two things we have to understand. What do you mean by your own self? Number one. And first of all, you have to understand what do you mean by your own self. Now, that is a great investigation now. That itself is a great investigation, because we are all totally confused about our own selves. We all, everyone, we are all totally confused about our own self. We don't know who we are. Yet we know we are, but we exactly don't know who we are. Everybody has got the knowledge of the self. There is no one who doesn't have the knowledge of the self. Everybody knows I exist. This I is actually referring to, now a beautiful term I am going to bring here. Listen to this term very carefully. The term is Atman, the greatest term ever existing. The term which actually means God. There is no other God apart from this Atman. Now see, as I said, you can have imaginations about God. We can imagine God in this way and that way. But what is this entity that God we are referring to? It is the Atman, nothing else. And this Atman is actually you. You are that. Presently we are not knowing it, yet we know it. There is no one who doesn't know the Atman. There is no one who doesn't know one's own self. But we are not knowing one's own self correctly. That is the problem. Our idea about the Atman is totally wrong now today. Atman means what? Self. Self. I. And presently, our understanding about I is totally confused. We have misunderstood this I to be something else which we are not. This is the big problem. Now see, I said that, anything which is distinct from this I, it has to be either pratyaksha or paroksha. But this I in itself is never pratyaksha. It is never paroksha. It is always aparoksha. It is immediately known. I repeat this word, immediately known. Immediate, not in a time sense. Immediate usually is understood in the time sense. No? Immediately something is happening. It is with reference to the time frame that we use the term immediate. But here immediate doesn't mean in a time sense. Immediate means without any immediacy. The knowledge of the self is never taking place through any medium. It is directly taking place without any immediacy of the sense organs. So, to just summarize this entire discussion, you just see, to know anything distinct from me, I need the immediacy of the sense organs. If you want to see this photograph, you need the immediacy of the sense organs. This very photograph which we are worshipping here, you are looking at it through the sense organs. But to know your own self, you don't need any sense organs. You don't even need your mind. You don't even need your buddhi. None of these mediums are required. So that is the highest kind of an experience of one's own self, which is referred to as Atman, which takes place without the immediacy of any sense organs, mind, buddhi, ego, none of these things. It is directly experienced. Directly. Without the immediacy of the body-mind complex. That experience is what is referred to as Aparokshanubhuti. Everything outside of that is either pratyaksha or it is paroksha. Atman is the only thing which is nitya aparoksha. Once again I repeat, in this entire creation, Atman is the only thing, only, which is nitya aparoksha. Nitya, always it is aparoksha. Atman is known directly. It cannot be known indirectly. It cannot be known through the sense organs. This is a very, very vital point. This is what is known as Ishvara Prapti. Now all those readers of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Kathamrita and all, every other page you will come across these terms called Ishvara Prapti, Bhagavat Prapti, Ishwar Labh. All this is referring to this Atmanubhuti, which is Aparokshanubhuti, in which there is no role of sense organs and the mind. It is something which is beyond the sensory system, mind, buddhi, and even ego. This is the direct experience of one's own self, which is referred to as Aparokshanubhuti. Now the Upanishads, they all talk about this great experience. All the rishis, they have kept before us how to attain this great experience. Shri Krishna, in his Bhagavad Gita, he talks about this very experience. Shankaracharya, he was a master teacher of this very great experience. All his works, they refer to this great experience called Aparokshanubhuti. And Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, they were all the great teachers of this great Aparokshanubhuti. We should keep it in mind. If you remember, just before I go ahead, on the first day when Naren came to Sri Ramakrishna, what was his question to Sri Ramakrishna? He asked him, "Sir, have you seen God?" Now, we have all kinds of ideas about God. Every human being. We can't help it. Now, we are going to discuss many points related to that. We have several ideas about God. And ideas about God, they are ideas. They are good ideas. And yet they are ideas. You can't help it. But I am not satisfied with ideas about God. I want God as God is. This is the great spirit of the Upanishads. Upanishads, they tell us, don't talk about these imaginary ideas of gods. I want what God as God is. Yat sakshat aparokshat brahma tant me vyachakshasva. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, tell me about Brahman, which is sakshat and aparoksha. I want to know the reality as reality is and not as we imagine about it. This is the spirit. So when Naren came to Sri Ramakrishna, he asked Thakur, have you seen God? And immediately Thakur answered, yes. Now, see that these are all semantics. We are using certain languages. And what is the language? Have you seen God? And the moment we use the word seen, the only thing we know is this one, seeing through senses. Is it not? This is pratyaksha and this is paroksha. See, these are all words. When we read your Kathamrita or any such text, we have to use words. We have no other way to communicate. To communicate a certain idea, we have to use words. And when we use words, we have to use the word like seeing. Apne ki Bhagwan ke dekhe chain. The moment we use the word dekhe chain, the only dekhe chain we understand is through this. And we imagine that somebody will come and stand in front of us. This is our idea of Bhagavad Darshana. Somebody will come and anyone who comes and stands in front of you, remember, that will be pratyaksha and that will be paroksha. That is not God's real nature as God is. Always note it down. So what was Sri Ramakrishna's answer? Yes, I have seen. How? He puts a condition to it. I am seeing him 1,000 times more intensely than I am seeing you. I am seeing you through the senses. But that God which I am talking about, he is more intensely known than I am seeing you through the senses. Sri Ramakrishna is referring to Aparokshanubhuti, where there is no mediacy of the sense organs and the mind. Sri Ramakrishna is saying that I am seeing God 1,000 times more intensely than I am seeing you. Because when I see you, when I look at you, I am looking at you through my sense organs and through my mind. And this Ishvaranubhuti doesn't take place through our senses. It is immediate experience of one's own self. This is what Sri Ramakrishna was talking about. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, you can also see God. Again, the term is seeing God. If you follow what I say, you also can see God. See God not through senses, Aparokshanubhuti. That is what Shankaracharya is going to talk about here. It's a wonderful book, a very popular Prakarana Grantha, which is very popular among all the seekers of truth, which keeps this subject in a very crystal clear manner before all of us. It's an amazing presentation, a characteristic of Sri Shankaracharya's works. All Shankaracharya's works are like that, simply amazing works, which is unparalleled. His Viveka Chudamani is like that, Atma Bodh is like that. All these books, immortal works by Shankaracharya, they present this great idea before the entire human race. So, once again, just to wind up what I have said, experience can take place either through some mediums. Presently, all that we understand is, or all that we experience is only through the mediacy of the sense organs and the mind. No one is experiencing that Atman in an aparoksha manner, but that is what we have to aim now. This Aparokshanubhuti is the real goal of human life, because Truth can never be known through senses and the mind. Unless we transcend the sensory realm and the mental realm, the truth is never going to be revealed as the truth is. This is the big challenge. Now, this will demand certain things now. Certain things will be required. Without fulfilling those conditions, no one can have this experience. Are we really interested in getting this experience? That is one question which we have to ask ourselves. This is not a retreat just for some relaxation. No. If that is the spirit with which you are sitting here, okay, from Delhi we have come here for 3 days, we'll relax and have some good time and go back. Little bit of solitude, little bit of stress buster. No, that is not the spirit. Who is fit to read this book? Only a person who is seriously wanting to know the truth. Only that person can really reap the fruit of this great study. If you're just here for a little bit of relaxation, you will listen to these things, but it will not work in your mind. So as I said, a certain frame of mind is extremely essential before we embark on this great study. So this much is clear. There are two kinds of experiences. One is immediate and the other is through immediacy. This is the two categories. All that we are experiencing here is through the medium of the sense organs and the mind. But the Atman is one thing which can never be experienced through sense organs and the mind. It is something to be experienced without any mediacy. That experience without any mediacy is what is referred to as Aparokshanubhuti. It is an anubhuti, it is an experience which is aparoksha, in which there is no mediacy of the sense organs and the mind. This is an important point. Now, as it happens, you see, before any such wonderful scripture is started, we have to, all the great authors of great works, they first offer their pranams to Ishvara. I don't want to use the term God. This English term God is a very misleading term, because this term God, English term, westernized term, it has got strong Semitic connotations. Our Hindu idea of God is totally different from the Semitic idea of God. Let us make this point very clear. The Semitic idea of God, the term God, as it is known in Christianity or Islam, there is a world and God is outside the world. It's an extra-cosmic idea of God, an extra-cosmic monotheistic idea of God. But the Hindu Vedic idea of God is not extra-cosmic. Our term is Ishvara. So I would always prefer to use the term Ishvara. We should be very careful about these terms. Terms can be misleading. Though we all use the term God, and if at all we are using the term God, we should understand in what sense. God in the Vedas or in the great Hindu Dharma is not extra-cosmic. God is not outside the world. There is some entity called a world here, and God is outside that. Somebody is ruling this entity called world from there. This is the idea of the Semitic religion. There is some being sitting beyond the clouds, beyond the seventh heavens. One being is sitting there, and he is sitting there and he is ruling the world. This is the idea of God. Swami Vivekananda says these ideas are good for school-going children, for kindergarten children. What is the real idea of God? It is Vedas and the Vedas alone which give this great idea of what Ishvara is. Now, what is that connection between God and this Jagat? We shall see now. It's a matter of exploration. What is the connection between? There are 3 dots which we have to connect now. The 3 dots which we have to connect is, one dot is this mysterious thing called Jagat, about which we are all confused. We are all living in a wonderful imaginary world as far as this experience of something outside is concerned. We are referring to this as Jagat, but what actually it is a matter of investigation. This is one dot. The second dot is Ishvara. Now, what is Ishvara? Again, we are all imagining about it. About this, we have an imaginary idea. About Ishvara, we have an imaginary idea. And the third dot is your own self. About that also, you have only an imaginary idea. The problem is with these three dots. We are all totally living in a confused state as far as these three dots are concerned. I am confused about my own self. I am confused about this mysterious thing called world. And I have some ideas, some imaginary ideas about Ishvara. I am just imagining. Yes, we have to. There is no other way. But we need the help of the rishis to understand, to solve this mystery. That's why we need the help of the Shastras and the Guru Vakya. Without the guiding of the Shastras and the Guru, we cannot come out of this confusion. And that's why, right in the beginning, we have to first bow down to Ishvara. And it is only by the Ishvara's blessings that we can succeed in resolving this mystery about these three things called Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. This is the investigation now. What is this Jiva? What is this thing called Jagat? And what is this third entity called Ishvara? Are they three different entities? Again, I am repeating this question. Are they three different entities exclusive to each other? Every one excluding the other? Presently, we are living like that. Let us come back to our own state, present state. You think you are a human being, a man or a woman. You think there is a second entity called some God who is separated from you. And you think that is the third entity called world which is separated from you. This is the ground on which our day-to-day life is going on. Is this not the fact? This is the plain fact. Now, when you begin to investigate, truth will begin to open up. That is why investigation is required. Without investigation, human beings alone can investigate. Animals cannot investigate. We have the capability to investigate, and yet we don't want to investigate. We want to remain in our cozy comfort zone. We don't want to come out of it. This is the problem. So that's, as I said, we are here approaching this subject with the spirit of seeking the truth. We are all seekers of truth. Unless you have this spirit, you won't be reaping the fruit which this study should be actually reaping. So the seeking the truth spirit has to be there when we approach the subject. So in the beginning here, Shankaracharya is first bowing down to Ishvara. We all have to bow down to Ishvara. Without Ishvara's anugraha, no one can succeed in this venture. So he says, you can all chant after me. I'll chant the first line, then you can chant. Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham. Shankaracharya is saying here, Aham Namami. I am bowing down. Namami Aham. I am bowing down. Bowing down to whom? Shri Harim. Shri Hari, Vishnu. Shri Hari refers to Vishnu. It is an amazing thing that in all the Mangalacharanas composed by Shri Shankaracharya, you will see he always bows down to Vishnu. It's a thing to be noted here. Everywhere, even in Vivek Chudamani also, everywhere you will find Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmiham. In Vivek Chudamani he says, everywhere he is bowing down to Vishnu. And what is this Vishnu? Again, the moment we use the term Vishnu, the first thing comes before us is that human form who is standing with a gada in his hand, with a chakra in his hand, with a lotus in his hand. All this beautiful forms comes before us. This is what we understand by the term Vishnu. But actually, what is Vishnu? The very term Vishnu means that Parabrahman which is all pervading. The very term Vishnu means that which is all pervading. It is referring to Parabrahman, Saguna Brahman. And it is a big principle that without, see, the knowledge of the Nirguna Brahman has to come through Saguna Brahman. No one can understand what Nirguna Brahman is, what Brahman is in its true nature, without the anugraha of Saguna Brahman. And it is that Saguna Brahman which is referred to as Vishnu here, Vishnu. You can give that reality a human form. That is for our convenience. But what actually Vishnu refers to is Saguna Brahman, which is all pervading. Vishnu means that which is all pervading. So Shankaracharya is first here bowing down to Sri Harim. And how is this Sri Harim? It's Paramanandam. Paramanandam. Satchidanandam. See, we are again, right in the beginning, we are touching about what the reality is. Today, we have no inkling about what this reality is, which is referred to as Paramanandam. Now, a time will come in our life when we will be able to experience it. To experience this great reality is the very goal of human life. So here Shankaracharya says, Sri Harim Paramanandam, Upadeshtaram Ishwaram. This Ishwaram, who is Upadeshtaram? Now, who is the person who can give us the knowledge of God, knowledge of Ishvara? Ishvara's knowledge has to come through Ishvara alone. Ishvara alone is the Guru. Always we should remember this point. Ishvara alone is the Guru. There is no second Ishvara. Satchidananda Brahman alone is the Guru. This is our great Siddhanta. But when that Guru Shakti works through a human framework, then that human framework is also considered to be a Guru. And everybody cannot become a Guru. To become a Guru, you have to have certain qualifications. Your psychophysical system, your psychophysical framework has to be eligible to become a Guru. Everybody cannot become a Guru. Only a psychophysical framework which is extremely pure, which is free from all worldly desires, only such a framework can become a Guru, in and through whom Ishvara's Guru Shakti begins to work. But actually, Guru is Ishvara and Ishvara alone. This we should always keep it in mind. So here, Shankaracharya is saying that I am bowing down to the Sri Hari, who is of the nature of supreme bliss, who is Upadeshtaram, who is the one who gives the Upadesha or the knowledge, supreme knowledge about the supreme reality. That Ishwaram, who is Vyapakam. Vyapakam means who is all-pervading. Sarvalokanam Karanam, who is the very cause of everything. Sarvalokanam Karanam. This Ishvara is the cause of everything. Now we shall investigate into it, in what sense and how. Here this Ishvara is at the root of everything here. Karanam Sarvalokanam Tam Namamyaham. I bow down to this Ishvara. This verse can be interpreted in a slightly different way also. Here, in this first interpretation, Ishvara himself is taken to be the Guru. And there is another interpretation in which you can take a human form of Guru, where you are bowing down to your own Guru, who is Upadeshtaram, who is the one who gives the Upadesha. Upadesha about whom? Upadesha about the Ishvara. So you can take it in both the senses. Either you take Ishvara himself to be the Guru, or the human Guru who is giving you the knowledge of Ishvara, I bow down to him. And that Ishvara is how? That Ishvara is Paramanandam, Vyapakam, Sarvalokanam, Karanam. So both the ways you can understand this term. Now, then, Aparokshanubhutirvai Prochate moksha siddhaye Sadbhireva prayatnena Vikshaniya muhurmuhu. Now, before getting into the serious study of this subject, all the Vedantic texts, books, they first present to us 4 points, which is known as Anubandha Chatushtaya. Anubandha Chatushtaya, there are 4 points which we should keep it in mind. And these 4 points are what? Number 1, who is eligible to take up the study of this book? Adhikari. Who is fit to study this book? There has to be some fitness. Fitness, eligibility, yogyata. Who is fit? That's why you see, unless we have the fitness, this study is not going to bear the fruit. These are all very valid points. In spiritual life also, fitness is a very important thing. It is not the question of just going to the temple. Are we really serious about God? Or are we really serious about the world? 99% you will find we are only serious about the world. We are not serious about God. Who wants God? Ask yourself. We are all wanting the world. We are using God for our worldly concerns. We are just doing business. In Swami Vivekananda's term, Swamiji says, this is just business. Oh God, I am coming and offering something to you. You take care of my family. Your love is for the family, not for the God. Who wants God? Nobody wants God. It's a big question. So who is fit? Here we are talking about what Sri Ramakrishna says. You can see God. Who wants to see God? Sri Ramakrishna says people shed jug full of tears for their wives and children and relatives and money and possession. Who wants God? Sri Ramakrishna says, no. Loke ghoti ghoti kande. Kar janno? Stri janno, santane janno, dhana sampatti janno, Bhagavane janno. Who wants Bhagavan? Nobody wants Bhagavan. See, yogyata, it's a big factor. Eligibility. Adhikari. Who is Adhikari? Where are the people who really want God? You will find 99.9% we don't want God. We are all only interested in the world. That's why, again, I'm telling this study is going to be fruitful for a person who really wants to know the truth. Otherwise, no, it's not. It's not going to work that way. In fact, spiritual life itself is like that. Are we really serious about this ultimate entity, the reality called Ishvara? We are not. We are actually concerned about the world and worldly concerns. And that is how we are connecting ourselves with God for our worldly concerns, not for the sake of God. So these are totally 2 different pictures. So we need to know, where do we belong to? Do I belong to this category or to that category? And you will say that unmistakably 99.9% we belong to this first category, where we want God in our life. Yes, we know God is all powerful and God can solve the problems of my day-to-day life. If that is the concern, experience of the God is out of question. But there is a second category of people, those who are not interested in the world because they have understood there is nothing in this world. That is a totally different, I should say, a stage in human life which comes as we evolve. A stage which has to come. It will come. There comes a stage in every human being's life when we understand the hollowness of the so-called this world with which we are so madly attached. We will understand that. And at that time, really, this book will be the guide how to go ahead in life. As long as we have our attachment for this thing called world, absolutely, this journey doesn't even start. This is the unanimous verdict of all the scriptures. So here, the first thing that we have to understand is, who is the Adhikari? Number 1. Second thing is, what is the prayojana? Adhikari prayojana. Prayojana means what? The fruit. What is the fruit of this study? Third point, what is the Vishaya? What is the main subject matter of this book? And the fourth is called Sambandha. What is the connection between this book and the Prayojana? This is what is technically known as Anubandha Chatushtaya. That is what Shankaracharya is referring to here in the second verse, where he says, Aparokshanubhuti vai. So what is the subject of this book? Vishaya. Vishaya is what? Aparokshanubhuti. Vishaya is Aparoksha Anubhuti. And Prochyate Moksha Siddhaye. What is the prayojana of this Aparokshanubhuti? Moksha Siddhi. The goal of this study or the outcome of this great experience is what? Moksha Siddhi. Attainment of moksha. And third thing, who is fit to do this? Sadbhireva prayatnena. Sadbhi. Sadbhi means those adhikari, those pure souls or good people. You can say pure souls who have been endowed with, the next point is that sadhana chatushtaya. The sadhana chatushtaya is going to be the next point, where Shankaracharya would refer to, these are the points which make us an adhikari actually. Now that will be told in the next verse. So Sadbhi refers to those people who are sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. Those who have got at least some amount of those 4 points which will be discussed in the next verse. So Sadbhireva prayatnena vikshaniya muhurmuhu. So such adhikaris, they have to meditate upon this great teaching which is given in this book repeatedly. Muhur means it is not just 1 3-day course. This is something, if you are really a seeker of truth, you will be drowning yourself in this day in and day out. Your one concern will be how to experience my own self. Again, coming back to, now see, this is your story which is being told in this book. We should remember this point. This is not somebody else's story which is being told here. It is your story. It is my story. I want to know myself. I ask you this question. You may be having the knowledge of this entire world which is appearing to be separated from your own self. You have the knowledge of everything, but you don't know who you are. What is the point in having all this knowledge of other things without having the knowledge of one's own self? It is the knowledge of this one's own self which makes the knowledge of other things meaningful. Otherwise, what is the meaning of gaining knowledge of this and that and that and that? We have so much information gathered in our brain, but we don't know who I am. The biggest mystery in this creation is this one thing. I. Everyone says I. But nobody knows what is the meaning of this I. We have mistaken this I with this body. Now, that is going to be the investigation now. This I. Is this I this body? That is a big thing. So, who is fit to? Adhikari is Sadbhi. Sadbhi means one who is endowed with the sadhana chatushtaya. He is fit to embark on this study. So, Vishaya is, Aparokshanubhuti is the Vishaya. Who can take up this study is Sadbhi. Sadbhi means those pure souls, good people, pure souls, endowed with sadhana chatushtaya, they are the adhikaris. And what is the prayojana of this Aparokshanubhuti? Moksha siddhi is the prayojana. And what is the sambandha? Sambandha between this book and moksha. This book is going to take you to moksha. That is the connection between this book and the prayojana called moksha. Moksha is the prayojana, but that moksha is attained by walking on the path shown by this great book. So this is what is known as Anubandha Chatushtaya, the 4 points, where who is the adhikari, what is the subject matter, what is going to be the fruit of this great study, and finally, what is the connection between this book and that fruit. This should be very clear in our minds. So we are referring to the greatest experience which results in moksha and which can be taken up only one who is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya. And this book is going to help us to move in that direction. Understand these 4 points? Now see, this is all meant for us to understand. Are we really wanting this? That is the question. Here the highest experience is being presented to us. which is going to result in moksha, which can be taken up by such serious people who are endowed with sadhana chatushtaya, and the great teaching given here is going to help us to reach that goal. This is the connection. See, right in the beginning, the things are made very clear. Are we really wanting it? If you don't want it, you can leave the class. See, that is the thing. It's a very important thing. Actually, what's the time? It's already 11 now? Okay, nice. So let's stop here. Om